Okay, I think we're finally live now. So welcome back to another stream. Of course, today we're talking about the Fashion Designer of the Year award at the British Awards. If you guys aren't aware, the British Fashion Council has essentially basically blocked ads. But basically the British Fashion Council has announced that they will be doing the fashion awards, and they've done the nominees. So they have like designer of the year, they have model of the year, they have British menswear designer of the year, British womenswear designer of the year, new establishment menswear, new establishment women's wear, British accessories designer, all those things. So I thought it would be really great to look at different nominees on different streams. So, of course, today we'll mainly be focusing on the first category, which is the designer of the year. So I just thought it would be fun because you've got Chemena Kamali for Chloé, John Galliano for Maison Margiela, Jonathan Anderson for JW Anderson and LOEWE. You've got Miuccia Prada for Miu Miu. That's interesting that JW Anderson is for JW Anderson and LOEWE, but Miuccia Prada is for Miu Miu. That's interesting. Very, very interesting how they've done that one. You got Pieter Mulier for Alaïa, Rick Owens for Rick Owens. So yeah, it'll just be a lot of fun. Definitely be a lot of fun. Leo says, you know it's serious because the A Cold War is on. No, this is more of a chill stream. We're just gonna be reviewing kind of what these designers have done. I think my work is easier because most of their runway shows I've reviewed. Like I reviewed JW Anderson's LOEWE shows and his JW Anderson shows. I always review them. So if you guys are unaware, you can go watch those. The Alaïa runway show that Pieter Mulier did, I've reviewed that. The only shows I didn't review are probably the Chloé show and the Rick Owens show. I definitely did the um, John Galliano and Margiela show, and I definitely did the Miu Miu show from Miuccia Prada. Luke says John Galliano being nominated in 2024 is old hat and boring. I actually I have a lot to say when it comes to the John Galliano nomination. I think it's quite interesting, to be honest. It's very, very interesting. Um, so yeah, I thought we'll jump straight into it. Let's jump straight into it. Let's have some fun with some of these designers. So of course, first we're talking about Chimena Kamali for Chloe. Now, if you guys remember, because this Fall Winter 24 show was actually her debut show, so many people were like, it was big on social media. A lot of people were talking about it. The reason why a lot of people were talking about it is because people were saying that she kind of brought that boho chic that Chloe was known for back, that a lot of people have felt has been missing, especially with Gabriella. Like, people just felt like that aesthetic of things was missing. I don't necessarily agree. Do I think the boho chic sort of thing is more on the nose with her, Chloe? Probably. But I don't think that people act like it didn't exist. It's also funny because a big story on social media at the time was the fact that a lot of influencers were given the same footwear, I think. And so there was this picture of influencers and celebrities wearing the same exact footwear on the front row, and that's such a good like marketing strategy actually, in terms of, you know, how they just were like, oh, we're just gonna slap these shoes in front of everyone's faces and you can do nothing about it. We're going to force this down your throat. How about that? So yeah, but I did like the collection. I thought it was really cool. The only issue I have with it, even though I really like it, those like Chloe belts, a lot of people were talking about those at the time. What I just feel like I've seen the collection before. I don't know why, but a lot of it just feels like I've seen it before. Obviously because she's referencing the archives and once again going back to that boho chic, referencing people like Phoebe Philo, of course. But there's nothing ultra fresh about the collection, at least not in my opinion. Madam Ken says, haha, yes, but not gonna lie, I want those Chloe platforms. Yeah, I mean, they're really nice. They are really nice. I'm not going to lie there. The Chloe platforms are amazing. Um, but yeah, it's interesting because I do know that this is a yearly award, but I also feel like sometimes these awards at the British Fashion Awards, they're kind of like a building block award. So she's only been at Chloe, she's barely been at Chloe, barely had any shows. And so her being nominated is just interesting when there's so many designers who have like built their body of work over time at a brand, and then they're at a point where they hit that point where you would expect them to be nominated, not Chemena. That's no hate on her, by the way, because I love her Chloe. I think it's really cool, even though, like I said, it's not something super new. I've definitely seen it before. But yeah, the nomination was kind of weird because then you look at people like JW Anderson, who's really established that JW Anderson and LOEWE, and you look at John Galliano that has been at Margiela for really long and built like a body of work there. Or you look at Rick Owens, who's been at his eponymous label forever. So she kind of stands out like a sore thumb. And then Pieter Mulier, he's been at Alaïa for a while now, but it doesn't feel like that because he hasn't really designed that many shows. But that's to do with kind of his philosophy with Alaïa, and it's supposed to be slow and it's not supposed to focus on, you know, the schedule, the fashion schedule, and be under the fashion system, which is very Alaïa. Azadine Alaïa himself was very much, you know, used to go against the whole fashion system thing and force people to just go to his shows even though it wasn't on the schedule, and, you know, having showrooms in his house and like all this crazy stuff. So it's definitely on brand for Alaïa to be that way. But my point is that I feel like she stands out like a sore thumb against designers who have built their design language and body of work at the brand. So yeah, very, very odd selection. It was really odd. But yeah, I don't know how to think that I don't like her work though. I like her work, it's just odd. Rachel says it's an interesting selection. I want to see some of these looks on Vogue Runway just to remind myself on how some of these looks look, so I don't have to watch the whole damn runway. I remember these pants here went really crazy on social media. A lot of people were obsessed with these. So much nudity. I'm going to get demonetized. YouTube is going to be like, a nipple? You are not making any money from the stream anymore. No, it was cool. Like, I'm looking at it now. Like I said, I've seen it before, but it's damn cool. And like, if I was a woman with a lot of money, I know that's like my catchphrase at this point. If I was a woman with a lot of money, I genuinely would wear some of the looks. The ultra sheer boho chic over flowy stuff isn't for me, but stuff like, let's see, look 37 is cool. Look 38 is a bit of me. That kind of stuff. You says free spirited and free the nipple. I definitely support women freeing the nipple. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't allow people to free the nipple. YouTube is like, our advertisers and sponsors do not want to see nipples. Goodbye to your monetization. Oh my god. But yeah, kind of cool to touch on Chloé quickly. I really want to see what's going on in the store though, like if that stuff has hit the stores, what the prices look like, because I don't think I've actually had a look at some of the pricing with Chloé, and we do this with every brand just to have a good understanding of where the market is, who the market is against, if they're changing the way that they brand things. Wow, so this like lace dress that was on the runway is 8.8k. Damn. That's spenny. Culture says if you're a woman with a lot of money, you would not buy this. I don't believe you. I guess we'll never know. Because I'm not a woman and I also don't have a lot of money. So, but yeah, that I get that it's in a silk lace, and to be fair, a really really high quality lace is expensive. But at this point, I feel like I'm so oblivious to these prices because everyone just charges insane stuff. It's not even surprising anymore. It's just like, yeah, 9K for a silk dress. Cool. A lot of lace in this collection and silk. Like silk lace fabrics. Damn, wide leg jeans in denim. Wide leg jeans in denim. That's an interesting way to name something. £735. This was the bomber jacket I did like on the runway, but it's 3.7K. That's insane. A shearling bomber jacket for 3.7K. Barely any fabric there because it's cropped and everything. Oblivious to these prices. That's the wealth talking, guys. Elle says, if I was a woman with a lot of money, I'd dress like a supervillain. I feel like you guys are gonna make that a thing. If I was a woman with a lot of money, oh, that's hilarious. Oversized short coat. So this wool coat cost 1,000 less than the shearling bomber jacket. That's interesting, just pricing wise. And I can imagine, well, I'd hope that it's a very good wool. It's not just some like shitty ass wool. And of course, you've got the like permanent collection Chloé stuff with all the logos. The girlies in LA love a bit of a logo. Hop in their Porsche 911 with the top down and the Chloé print T-shirt. We see you. We see you. We want the LA girls to feel seen in these streams. Dammy says I'm locked in. Yeah, Leo, the bomber would go crazy. I love it. I actually love it. Utilitarian vest in soft leather, 3.2K, and it's out of stock. Shout out to Chloé. That stuff is clearly flying off the shelves. This is out of stock. The silk. Wow. A lot of this is out of stock. Even a skirt. Damn. So people really were rocking with this runway stuff. Sometimes I always wonder, and you guys in the chat, let me know what you think, right? I always wonder if these things genuinely sell out in the sense that they're selling loads of it, or if they just had like 10 versions and it looks good because it's like, oh, this sold out, that sold out, and it looks cool on the website. But it's not the same because obviously it might just be 15 things. But what do you guys think? Because I always think for a brand as big as Chloé to sell out of stuff, it's either you're really selling loads of stuff because so much of this stuff is sold out on the website, or it's just really in tiny quantities. Culture says it's because a lot of people don't have taste. Changed my mind. Damn. Very, very harsh. That's very harsh. But yeah, I think I've seen enough with Chloé. But I definitely think that Chloé had a really good year, and I'm definitely looking forward to see what Chemena does. I'm remembering the runway show with that really cool moment where her kid came and they had that little family hug. That was really sweet. I feel like that's going to be a fashion moment for a long time. Like when we look back, like some of the most wholesome fashion moments. So yeah, it's cool. Next, of course, on the agenda is John Galliano. John Galliano, it's kind of weird that John Galliano was nominated because like I've been saying since, I feel like we talk about John Galliano so much these days, but it's just this idea that John Galliano was kind of ostracized from the industry. He kind of cleaned his image, was minding his business at Margiela, and everyone was kind of at the time saying that, yeah, John Galliano is in a really good space. He's just like minding his business and making really, really good stuff at Margiela. And now he's been pushed into the limelight from all directions, whether it's this couture collection here that went viral. He had an interview with Vogue about the collection, explaining it. He had an interview with Sister Magazine. You have articles coming out saying that John Galliano was supposed to be the Met Gala theme. You have the Met Gala itself, where so many of the top A-listers were wearing pieces designed by John Galliano. There definitely seems to be this sort of like John Galliano resurgence. You've got the rumors that we've talked about in a past stream that he might be going to Dior. He might be going back to Dior. There are some rumors that he might be going to Fendi, and so it's a bit much. It feels like a very, very deliberate John Galliano push. I don't know if Anna Wintour is, orchestrating things in the background and getting things ready, or they're trying to prepare us for a John Galliano resurgence, which is why the time when there are these rumors around, John Galliano joining one of the major houses, all of a sudden he's finally back after how many years as a nominee of Designer of the Year. It's so interesting. I can't even remember the last time John Galliano was a nominee for Designer of the Year. It's been so long, I can't even remember. So it definitely feels like there is this really deliberate push to push John Galliano to the forefront. And my next YouTube video actually will be about John Galliano again, talking about something else. But yeah, it just, every time I look into it, it just seems like I'm preparing for something to happen, because I just feel like at some point there's going to be big news that comes out with John Galliano. So yeah, Luke said he won it 4 times in the 90s and 80s. Yeah, I mean, so many designers have won it. Like J.W. Anderson, actually, I think J.W. Anderson is one of the few, if not the only, or maybe he was even the first designer to win Menswear Designer of the Year and Women's Wear Designer of the Year. And he's still getting nominated. I feel like by the time J.W. Anderson retires, he might have like 15 Designer of the Year awards or something crazy like that. But yeah, nothing much more to say about John Galliano, because I feel like I talk about him a lot, but I think all I wanted to really touch on is like, this just seems like it's part of the never-ending John Galliano push to the forefront of fashion. You guys can debate whether that's good for fashion or whether it's bad, if you like it or agree with it, or if you don't, to be fair. But yeah, I think, that's a conversation for another day. Next, of course, on the nominees list is Mr. Jonathan Anderson. I find it quite interesting that they've nominated him for LOEWE and his eponymous label. Of course, this collection I've reviewed, so I won't really touch upon it. I think that J.W. Anderson has definitely pushed and brought LOEWE back into the forefront. I think that in pop culture, LOEWE is big. On social media, LOEWE is big. Financially, they're doing really well. When you look at the financial reports, J.W. Anderson has brought it back to one of the top brands in the LVMH stable. So obviously largely successful. There are a lot of hero products at LOEWE, whether we're talking about the bags or and at JW Anderson too, or the footwear has been a massive thing. A lot of the jackets people love. So yeah, I think he's been consistent recently. Luke is saying he's awful. Luke doesn't like JW Anderson. I disagree with Luke on that one, but we all have our opinions. So yeah, I think he's been very consistent. I get why he'll be nominated, but I think it's kind of strange just to see the same designer. Not that it's necessarily a good or bad thing, but just to see the same designer over and over and over again. So yeah, it'll be crazy. Dammy said, some of us are hearing your thoughts on the collection for the first time. You got to repeat some things. No, because I would rather, instead of giving you a half-assed review, because I'm actually just talking about the nominations rather than reviewing the shows today, I'd rather you just go and watch that review, because it's in depth. If you want to get the proper review of this collection, then you have to go and watch that review. So yeah. That's the good thing about having a good video archive. You can just recommend videos for people to watch. So yeah, those are my thoughts on JW Anderson. It's kind of like he's always been consistent. I mean, we look at the stuff all the time on the website. The stuff sells like crazy. I think in the former stream we looked at the prices, so I won't really do that again. We'll have a bit of a scroll, see what's going on right now. They also do that trompe-l'œil thing where it's like optical illusion, like, oh, it looks like a cotton shirt, but it's actually leather and all that sort of stuff that they do at Bottega as well. Luke says Jonathan Anderson is an architect of sartorial misery. Good Lord. How? What's so bad about his tailoring? Architect of sartorial misery is insane. Trompe-l'œil. I'm not French, guys. Oh god, that's funny. Trompe-l'œil. So yeah, anyway, those are my closing thoughts on the JW Anderson nomination. Next, of course, on the list is Miuccia Prada for Miu Miu, which once again is kind of odd because JW Anderson is being nominated for his work at JW and LOEWE. But in the case of Miuccia Prada, she's, being nominated for her work at Miu Miu. Kind of strange. Maybe it's because at Prada, it can't just be Miuccia and then they have to involve Raf. And then it becomes a bit complicated, I guess. But Miu Miu has been on top of every list. Even if you look at like the list, List has those lists that come out. It's tongue twister. List has the lists that come out. List as in LYST I'm talking about. They have those lists where it's like the most popular brand of 2024 of Q1, the most trendy brand of Q1. Prada and Miu Miu absolutely dominated all of those lists. Also, when we looked at the reports for Q1, we saw how Prada and Miu Miu dominated in terms of growth. Like, especially Miu Miu. Miu Miu had some of the best growth across the whole luxury fashion industry, actually. Obviously, it means a lot, and not it seems like it's more significant than it is. Obviously, it's significant in the sense that they had insane growth, and that's always going to be significant. But if you look at the numbers, Miu Miu is not the size of a lot of, the top brands in the LVMH stable or the Kering stable. So, because people are like, oh, Miu Miu is going to like overtake Gucci and all that stuff, and I was like, bruh. The difference in revenue is wild. Actually, a big reason why Miu Miu can still see those levels of growth is because there are so many markets the brand hasn't tapped into, because it's quite small compared to those behemoth brands like Louis Vuitton or Chanel or Gucci, those kind of brands. But yeah, they're obviously doing really well. I think that Miu Miu has the girlies in a chokehold. Every time I open TikTok, it feels like all these TikTok girlies are going to thrift stores and vintage stores and finding ways to replicate stuff that they see on the Miu Miu runways, which is actually cool to see, because I think that the style, I like the way it's styled. Shout out to Lotte Volkova as well, who is the stylist for Miu Miu. And I think that one of the reasons why Miu Miu is having such a strong resurgence in fashion, I think, is because we've seen the likes of Lotte Volkova be involved in styling Miu Miu, and we've seen kind of how it's resonating with young people, which I guess was the whole point of it. Because Lotte Volkova is obviously known for her work at Vetements with Demna, and it's what Micah says. Micah, if you want to hop into the live, I can bring you into the live, by the way. I figured out how to do it. It's kind of complicated, but I figured it out. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Lotte has been doing amazing work. Of course, she resonates with younger people. Her styling, her way of styling, I think also has it has an edge, which I love. So even when she does something classy or she does something more chic, like even like these looks, you look at it and you just see like a certain edge to the clothing that I really love. I also love that because Miu Miu does do menswear, but in spouts. But I do like the way the menswear is styled, and I also hope that in the future Miu Miu has an even bigger focus on menswear. That would be really nice to see, to be honest. Micah says, I've been trying to meet Lotte for a minute. I don't even think I've ever seen Lotte face to face, ever. Like, even at a runway show or whatever. Or just probably not in the same vicinity. Which is strange, because, like, I've been to a Miu Miu show before. But obviously she was working it probably, so she's not going to be sat there. Dami says, Miu Miu is so small, but it's very good to see it grow. Luke says, all of these brands will start to look exactly the same. Nah, I don't think that Miu Miu is in that boat of brands that look the same. So if we're talking about the fact that Phoebe Philo's brand kind of looks similar to La Mer, which kind of looks similar to Xenia, which kind of looks similar to Jill Sander, I don't think that Miu Miu is in that boat, to be honest. But I do agree with you that a lot of brands, not completely the same, but they look very similar. They have similar sensibilities. Guidance says, I want to see Miuccia design costumes for a movie. That would actually be really interesting. That would be cool to see. Micah says, I have no industry links. We've been through this, guys. I'm just a regular man. I did not go to CSM. I was not a pattern maker. I have not had talks with Dana Thomas about Luxury's luster. Why is he atting me? Why is Micah atting me? That is hilarious. That is so funny. Leo says that List used to be the plug. Nowadays, they make me want to gatekeep even more. Why? List is still the plug, you know. If you want to know what brands are trending, I think that the List index report is always really, really good. Let me see if I can whip that on the screen, actually. The List index. Just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. In case you guys haven't seen the index that I was saying where, like, Prada, Miu Miu. So this is the hottest brands list. So I guess Q1, Prada was number 1 and Miu Miu was number 2, and they've just switched places. So right now, Miu Miu is actually number 1. And let's see what notes they have. They staged the Fall Winter 24 show in Paris. They released the Miu Miu upcycled denim collection, which was obviously big. They collaborated with New Balance and Churches. The Churches collab went crazy, to be honest. Then you've got the likes of Prada. Let's see, unveiled the 2024 Re-Nylon campaign with Emma Watson and Benedict Cumberbatch. Hosted 3rd edition of the Double Club in LA. Introduced latest versions of the buckle bag. So then obviously after that, you've got LOEWE, which we've talked about with JW Anderson. And you've got Bottega, Saint Laurent, Moncler, Versace, Balenciaga, Valentino, Jacquemus. I would have thought that Balenciaga would be a lot higher. They're saying that Balenciaga has gone up 4 places in this quarter, which is interesting. Gucci at 11, I thought would be lower. So that's surprising. Burberry, Skims, Louis Vuitton, New Balance, The Road, Diesel, Dolce, Alaïa, and then JW Anderson. ADF says, not Skims. So yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Let's see what they say about the Miu Miu obsession. Let's see what Liz has to say. Because I do think that their index is amazing. So we definitely shouldn't gatekeep the List index. I think that guys should read the List index. Before I actually read what they say about like why Prada is trending or the Miu Miu obsession and all that stuff, let me see what I would switch around in this list. So I would move Balenciaga to about number 3, to be honest. Balenciaga is hot, hot, hot. Like, what? Balenciaga is so mainstream. Like, everyone talks about Balenciaga. Like, for all the critique I have about Demna, he makes really interesting stuff, especially the accessories. And those get people talking. People are obsessed with that sort of stuff on TikTok, on Instagram, all over the place. So I would definitely, the Miu Miu and Prada thing I agree with. I'll put Balenciaga 3rd. That would shift LOEWE to 4th and Bottega to 5th. Saint Laurent is neither here nor there. I don't really think that Saint Laurent is necessarily hot. I don't know how. Saint Laurent is nice. It's cool, but hot? Like trendy? I don't know how Saint Laurent could possibly be hot right now. Gucci, I don't even think should be on this list. I don't think there's anything hot about Gucci right now. If I'm just being objective, the Row should be way higher on this list. Louis Vuitton with like what Pharrell is doing, less so Nicolas Ghesquière, but with Pharrell, definitely should be higher on this list. Alaïa should be higher because of the collection that Pieter Mulier did that people were obsessed with. Everyone was talking about that. Valentino, okay, I understand Valentino because of Alessandro Michele and like all the conversation and discourse around that. I definitely understand that. Diesel should also be higher. I think Diesel is very hot. Like, yeah, Diesel's big. So interesting. And Dolce & Gabbana. Guys, is Dolce & Gabbana hot right now? Where did that come from? Dolce & Gabbana. Really? That's crazy. That's crazy. People are questioning Skims. I agree with Skims. I think that Skims is really hot right now. I definitely agree with that. What I don't agree with, Gucci, Burberry, Burberry, if it has to be there, maybe 20. Gucci shouldn't be on the list, and definitely not Dolce & Gabbana, for sure. I'm just like, what? Dolce & Gabbana? Hot? Since when? When have you ever seen discourse around Dolce & Gabbana in 2024? Like, for real, I'm being so serious. Let's see what they say about the Miu Miu obsession. The first list index of 2024 sees Miu Miu reclaim the number 1 spot, jostling Prada into 2nd position. Searches for Miu Miu increased 8% this quarter, with 3 Miu Miu pieces in the top 10 hottest products. A first for any list index brand. Okay, that's really interesting. And a testament to the global obsession with Miu Miu products. Right now, Miu Miu is outperforming the market, delivering brand heat plus cultural weight that sets it apart in the eyes of the fashion shopper. Playful, unique styling and must-have viral products cement Miu Miu firmly on top of the table. Searches for Miu Miu from male shoppers on list have increased 88% over the last 3 months. Before I continue, how do they track that? How do they know that a certain person that is searching something is a male? Like, how do you track that? I really want to know how they track that. Like, if I'm searching something on my laptop, how do they know I'm a male searching? But anyway, continuing. While the collaboration sneaker with New Balance, this quarter's hottest product, sold out in hours online, Saint Laurent enters the top 5 for the first time. Searches for Saint Laurent products increased 10% in the month following its Paris Fashion Week show, driven by demand for sunglasses and Le 5-7 bag. Yeah, I'm definitely not a bag person, clearly, which has been worn by the likes of Hailey Bieber and Laura Harrier. Yeah, I don't follow what celebrities wear, so I wouldn't know about all of that. But yeah, the Miu Miu, interesting. I want to know how they track that, though. Like, I want to know, like, where, what, by what metric. Very interesting. I want to see, because they said it has 3 products in the top 10 hottest products. So the hottest product right now is the Miu Miu New Balance 530 SL sneaker. This is interesting, actually. Swim briefs. The girlies are really obsessed with Miu Miu. They're going and buying their swim briefs. They're getting their fix. That's very, very interesting. Carhartt Detroit jacket, Saint Laurent Panther sunglasses, Rick Owens dress, a Miu Miu polo shirt. The girlies love the basic Miu Miu pieces though. The polo shirt that says Miu Miu on it and the swim briefs. Damn. I thought it was going to be something way more interesting. I thought it was going to be something significantly more interesting. I'm quite surprised about that. That's shocking. That's a shocker. That's a big shocker, guys. But anyway, just wanted to show you guys the list index because I think it's actually a very good resource and I think that it's very cool. So for guys that I don't know, haven't heard of it or don't know about it, every quarter they do a list index. So I'm looking at it now. So this is actually for Q1, not Q2. This is Q1 2024. So I'll be looking out to see the new one when it comes out, like everyone does. Everyone's always looking forward to see what happens with the list index. So yeah. So next on the list is Pieter Mulier at Alaïa, which I think is actually a very interesting nomination that I love because I'm not sure how many of you guys remember this collection. I obviously reviewed it, so you guys can go and watch that. However, just kind of like a quick background, this whole collection, he used the same yarn to make every single fabric. So the idea behind this collection was he used the merino wool yarn and to see how many ways he can transform a singular fabric. So there were so many different textures and so many different kind of looking garments that he made with the same fabric, which is very interesting because it's in the fashion industry where everything is so fast. First of all, I love how slow Pieter Mulier's Alaïa is, like not having that many collections and they're not very often, but when I see them, there's always something really interesting. The fabric manipulation that went into it, I've read a lot of interviews in terms of the techniques that went into making the clothes that I thought were really cool and interesting. Also, something that I saw recently that was really good is there was an interview that Pieter Mulier did about kind of like his intentions for Alaïa and where he sees Alaïa going with him at the helm and all that sort of stuff. I actually posted the article, like the interview, in Discord because it was in a print magazine, so I took pictures of it and posted it in the Discord. So people that are in the Discord, you guys would have seen it. If you're not part of the Discord, definitely join the Discord and you can actually probably find it. If you just search my name and then Alaïa in the Discord, you'll be able to find it. But it's such a good interview to read because he literally explains like the history of Alaïa from his lens and kind of how he's drawing parallels in terms of the way Alaïa used to do things in a very slow and considered way and why he's doing it that way, and even the fact that he doesn't care about Alaïa being viral and the virality and the craziness of fashion. It's really just about slow growth. Something in that interview that I really loved is the idea of slow growth. I was so happy that he said that because every brand is so obsessed with, oh, we need to grow by 50% year on year, and we need to grow by this amount and grow by this, and we just need to accelerate our growth. And then he just comes out in the interview and is like, we're looking at slow and sustainable growth, and I'm so happy that my bosses actually are very supportive on the growth being slow, and I was so happy about that. So yeah, so much in there. It's a very long interview, so like I said, if you're not part of the Discord, definitely join and just search for it. And if you guys want to know where the Discord link is, it should be in the description of this live stream. So if you just look at the description, you should see a link to the Discord. Definitely join, chat with us about fashion, and also read some cool stuff that we always put in the Discord. Someone's asking me if I like Shane Oliver's Anonymous Club. So I haven't really, like, the Anonymous, like, I saw when the last show happened, but I didn't really look into it, so I don't really have too much of an opinion on it. Because I haven't really looked too deeply into Anonymous Club, which I actually should, to be fair. So yeah, I don't really have too much of an opinion on it. Who does it, by the way? I know it's not just Shane. It's like a collective thing, but I don't know who else is involved in it. Oh, Cynthia says, my first time seeing this house. I like. What, Alaïa? Oh, you're in for a... Wow. You're in for... Where do I even go with that? Yeah. There's so much to love about Alaïa, especially historically. You're in for a massive treat. Pieter doesn't need to worry about virality because the work he's doing is loud enough for everyone to get talking. I definitely agree with that. Drankhead is saying maybe Ian Isaiah is back with him. That would be cool to see though. Although I remember when like Hood by Air kind of like what's the right word to use? Let's just say when it kind of slowed down, Ian Isaiah started just going back to making music and stuff. So I don't know. I don't really know because I don't really follow what Ian Isaiah is doing. I don't know what kind of wavelength Ian is on. But anyway, let's skip to the end of this runaway show, so it doesn't drag on. I'm getting very good at, you know, not talking forever. Do you guys remember when the streams used to be like 6 hours long and now they're all like 1 or 2 hours long? It's like, let me not just talk forever without pauses. I want to see if because I remember when the collection came out on their Instagram, they had a lot of posts around like the actual making of the garments. So let me see if I can find them. I think I might have skipped past it, but I might not. Culture says, I hate this new era. Culture, when you say you hate this new era, what designers or what brands are you talking about that have sparked your hatred? L says 3 hours is golden. Is that the sweet spot? Guys, in the chat, what would you say is the sweet spot in terms of duration of the live streams? How long do you actually want the live streams to be? Do you want them to be like stupidly long? Or do you want them to be, do you like the fact that I've made them a bit more snappy and I don't talk forever? Just go on and on and on. I'm curious to see what people say. I'm like, what happened to the videos? Maybe it's in Reels. Sometimes I forget that that's a whole different section. Okay, some people are saying, Culture says 4 hours. Name says 3 to 4. 2 to 3 hours. 2.5. That's interesting. I actually started making them... I started making them shorter because I wanted people to be able to watch them back a lot easier. But it seems like actually you guys prefer to watch a longer stream back. So I'll bear that in mind. On and on and on and on. 2 to 3 hours stream for cooking. We missed the professional yapper. Okay, BBB says depends on the topic of the stream. That's interesting. Joe says stupidly long. Where are these videos? 1 second. Why can't I find this stuff? Unless they just don't exist anymore. That's crazy though. Well, yeah, I've already gone too far because this is Pieter Mulier's Alaïa debut. I remember that. I can just tell from the picture. So I've definitely gone too far. Let me have one more take before we move on. Let's see. Are we going to find the video, guys? Are we going to find the video? Just search it. Some archive page has probably reposted it. That's a good point, actually. If I don't find it now, I'll definitely search. Okay, if it's anywhere, it should be around here somewhere. And if it's not around here... Okay, no, that's just a teaser. That's not what we're looking for. Nope, 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 nope. This is all runway stuff. That's interesting. Why would they remove it? That's not even in their best interest. Don't they want to show people how stuff is made? Odd. Very, very odd. That's strange. Archive pages will have a fashion breakdown on the three wise men if they could. Oh my god, that's jokes. Oh my god, Luke. You need to give us some time on Alaïa. Like, Luke just wants to go to the next one. The next one should be interesting, actually, because obviously it's Rick Owens. And the Rick Owens show that everyone was raving about, till today, I haven't actually watched it. So this is a good chance for me to actually see the show. Okay, people are asking me to do a poll. Let me do the poll quickly. But what I want to do first is so this Rick Owens show, because obviously Rick Owens is nominated. I don't let me not say anything because obviously I haven't seen the show, but from what I saw on social media, it just seemed like people are more obsessed with the actual spectacle of the show rather than an interest in the actual clothing or the silhouettes or any of the ideas that Rick Owens was presenting. So I'm reading the description now to just see, because Rick Owens normally, and he actually types it himself, which is really cool. He actually types the descriptions, which are the show notes. So it'd be cool to see like what he says. He says, last season's collection was named Porterville after the small judgmental town I had to escape from. This season's collection is named Hollywood after the boulevard of vice I gleefully ran to. Okay, that's cool. So it's kind of like a continuation of the last collection, you know, this idea of, you know, leaving dread and gloom and going to a place where Rick Owens felt seen and felt like he could be himself. There he goes, exactly what he says after. He says, to find my people, weirdos and freaks. Living in a world Lou Reed described in A Walk on the Wild Side, I was looking for the flaming creatures I had seen filmed by Jack Smith and Kenneth Anger. And I always reference the lost Hollywood of pre-code black and white biblical epics, mixing Art Deco, lurid sin and redeeming morality. So that explains the silhouettes. Okay, that makes a lot of sense already. Because I've already seen the clothes, even though I haven't seen the show itself, because so many people posted about it on social media. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Anyway, continuing, it says, my personal Peter Berlins wear trash gym shorts and chiffon capes with jumbo geo baskets the size of space boots. Capes and jackets also come in narrow loomed Japanese denim. Okay, let's skip that part because they're talking about how the stuff is made, which I could probably read later. Like it says, oh, all our denim is treated in an Italian wash house, which is cool. I mean, I don't really question how Rick Owens clothing is made because I buy so much of it and it's such good quality for the most part. So I don't really need to read through like the fact that, you know, they dyed it in a certain part of Italy, so long as it was dyed properly. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so most of it is actually just talking about how it was made. At the end, they talk about the way the show is made. So it says, our gymnast bouquet is arranged by Ilva Folk, who composed The Woman Carrying Woman in our Cyclops show 9 years ago. Oh, wow. That's an iconic show for Rick Owens. Okay, I get the idea, like the concept of the show. I just wanted to see if he mentioned it, which he did. Um, so that's cool. Now let's watch the show and see. Because I just thought people were like, oh, all I saw on social media, to be honest, the discourse I saw around the show was, oh, this is Rick Owens gives us a show. Rick Owens gives us a spectacle. And all I was wondering was, okay, so what did you guys actually think about the clothes though? Because I just saw a whole bunch of white clothes. But I get it, obviously, kind of like the biblical references and kind of what it reminds Rick Owens of. It makes sense why you have the capes and like kind of like the priest-like flowy silhouettes. That makes a lot of sense. Rick must have a 360 deal with the Palais de Tokyo. I mean, that's literally the only place he chose for the most part, apart from when he takes a break. Like, wasn't it a recent show? He showed it in his Paris apartment. So sometimes, from time to time, he does a different show somewhere else. But for the most part, yeah, Palais de Tokyo all day, every day. But yeah, I'm trying to see, because by Rick standards, even though, okay, the concept of the show is really interesting and cool, the clothing itself, I'm not the biggest fan of, just looking at it now. And also, the way it's constructed doesn't look fantastic. Like, I get the idea. It's supposed to be this, like, angelic sort of biblical sort of thing. So I get why it's really light and sheer. But garments like that, I just wouldn't use my money to buy garments that flimsy in the first place. And I think, unfortunately, when well, sometimes you can do really interesting stuff with like really light flimsy fabrics, but you have to tailor things a certain way, in my personal opinion. And I think even though he's kind of doing the same shoulders and the same stuff that Rick always does, in this fabric it looks so off key. Her Queen says, I never understood Rick and his brand, and hopefully you'll never understand it. Damn. But yeah, now that I'm looking at the show, I'm even more underwhelmed with the clothing itself. I get the whole charade and the spectacle. I do like the idea though of the continuation of the last show too. That's really cool. Kind of like one show is about kind of you having to battle and grasp with a tough time in his life, and then another time is now focusing on when you could actually escape that space and go somewhere where you could be yourself and feel seen and all that stuff. ATF says, bro got way too conceptual. He forgot he had to design good clothes. Damn, that's peak. Like I said, by Rick standards, am I a fan of the clothing? Not really. But that's only because, like, I'm a huge Rick Owens fan, obviously. I mean, that's most of what I buy. So yeah. So Joe says, I think every sort of group was meant to call back to one of Rick's iconic staple silhouettes or material innovations he cemented over the years. I mean, I see the silhouettes, but it's the same. Maybe because, like, with modern Rick, I'm talking like past, let's say, 6 years. Maybe let me shorten it. Let me say past 5 years of Rick. having a show that harkens back to his iconic silhouette is not very interesting as a concept because Rick uses the exact same silhouette in every single show over and over again and changes it slightly. Not that I have an issue with it because I like Rick's aesthetic so much and that's why I buy a lot of it and that's why I wear it. However, as a concept or as a basis for your show, it's not that strong when that's what you do anyway, if that makes sense. I hope incarcerating wins the lotto so I can see them style as many Rick pieces as possible. I know, right? Carl is amazing. I love the way that Carl dresses. So, so cool. Incarcerating is the GOAT. Yeah, ADF, yes. When Tyrone got involved in Rick, it started to go downhill. I'm with you there. Rick Owens pre-Tyrone was a different beast. Like Rick Owens pre-Tyrone was a different beast. But yeah, I just think I don't know, there was more of a focus on show, less of a focus on the clothing. Let me have a look through. Let me sift through. The problem is because I'm like a Rick customer, I've just seen everything already. So the only thing that makes this collection remotely different is really just the show itself. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. Some more geo baskets, as if we hadn't seen enough of those already. I like that they're bringing back those like sandals. Okay, let's get a move on. Yeah, I mean, so it's cool. It's cool for me to actually finally see that show. Now, what I will say is that, so going back to the nominations, Rick Owens, the thing is that I just think that Rick Owens is iconic. I genuinely think that, and he'll always be iconic in my personal opinion. However, I just think that in 2024 though, is what Rick is like, I don't know, like what Rick is doing in 2024. Let me go on the Instagram quickly. Rick Owens in 2024 though. I don't know. And I say this as someone that like loves Rick and I'm a customer. I buy Rick every single season. But Rick in 2024 though? What? I'm just like, what has happened with Rick in 2024 that's like mad interesting compared to like loads of other designers? Unless maybe with the British Fashion Awards, they also have to have big names there because it helps, you know, with the pizzazz of the awards. Queen says, does anyone actually buy it? I definitely buy it. I certainly buy Rick. Not all of it is crazy, by the way. Like the Rick Owens I buy, okay, some of it is. It's not even that crazy. I don't buy the like insane runway pieces. I buy like the runway stuff, but like toned down a bit. So I'll buy like the ultra cropped puffer jacket because I want to use it to layer, but I wouldn't get the like insane shoulder pieces. So the culture's asking me who's sliding in my DMs. Don't worry about that. Japan has been killing it all year, honestly, though. Exactly. Like, for example, I think that Undercover has had like an insane showing. I think that Juno Watanabe has done really well. Kane and Amia has done really well. I don't really know how, when it comes to the British Fashion Awards, I don't know how they pick the nominees. Because like it says here recognizes a British or international designer whose innovative collections have made a notable impact on the industry, defining the shape of global fashion. So obviously they have to put some Brits in there. And then with the international designers, I don't know if there's like a way that they have to pick, which is why probably we don't see the Japanese designers there, who I think have had like really good showings. Even like Anne Rillige have had some really cool shows. I'll definitely put Anne Rillige over a lot of designers here. Especially, I'll put Anne Rillige over John Galliano and Rick Owens. John Galliano, I just don't even know why he's there. It's just weird. Rick Owens is kind of strange too. I think Rick Owens, by Rick Owens standards, he's had a very quiet year. So I don't really know what he's doing there. Compared to like, if we're just talking about designer of the year, who has been because it says here, we're reading the description, whose innovative collections have made a notable impact on the industry, defining the shape of global fashion. So can we say in 2024, in 2024, Rick Owens' collections have made a notable impact on the industry, defining the shape of global fashion. Can we say that about Rick in 2024? I think, as much as obviously I'm saying that it's weird for John Galliano to be there, obviously I'm just being funny, but like John Galliano, we can definitely say that his Margiela collection definitely made a notable impact on the industry, 100%, without a doubt. JW Anderson with the LOEWE stuff, the JW Anderson stuff, that's true. With Miuccia Prada for Miu Miu, that's definitely true. I think it's less true for Chemena Kamali at Chloé. I don't really think that I think people were talking about the Chloé collection, and I think it was cool, and I think it was definitely interesting. But if we talk about a notable impact on the industry, I'm not too sure about that. Rick Owens, not too sure about that. Pieter Mulier with Alaïa is kind of like in the middle somewhere. I think the person that actually you can say it most about is Miuccia Prada for Miu Miu and John Galliano for Margiela, for talking about notable impact on the industry, defining the shape of global fashion in 2024, because it's a designer of the year award. It's not a designer of their career award. It's a designer of the year 2024 award. I don't know, it's really strange. So when you then consider those things and you look at the nominations, it looks even more strange, doesn't it? Dami says Rick kinda is the international designer of the year. But then Miuccia is also international, so is Pieter, right? They're all international apart from John and Jonathan. Queen says Galliano was a good show, but too much theatrical. Interesting. So yeah, it's just interesting when you look at that's why I really want to know how they pick these, because there's so many other designers that are kind of prominent that, like I said, Kane and Namiya, Juno Watanabe, Jun Takahashi. I didn't like the latest Sacai collection, but the collection before that I thought was really amazing. So you can slap Chitose Abe there. So many designers. Lego Space Program. I guess Lego Space Program is not like a huge brand. It's not like as big as Margiela, but Lego Space Program's last collection was sensational, the ideas behind it. So yeah, I don't know. Like when you say defining the shape of global fashion, I don't know, man. I think as much as I'm a fan, like I've said, I'm literally a fan of Rick Owens, and I'm a fan of, well, I'd say Rick Owens, because the Rick Owens, I'm just looking at it, like notable impact in 2024. I don't know about that. Just a bit odd. I'd definitely, the most true for Miuccia Prada for Miu Miu and John Galliano at Margiela. If we're talking about like impact, defining the shape of fashion, more so Miu Miu than anything else, because Miu Miu has people in a chokehold. Do you guys remember when was it that the Gucci show, not the last one, but the show before that, the resort collection? Let me put it on the screen. Because I remember people saying that it kind of, a lot of the looks looked like Miu Miu, right? And people were saying that Miu Miu has the fashion industry in such a chokehold that other brands are starting, their styling is starting to look like Miu Miu. Like, look at this collection by Gucci, for example, the resort collection. The pussy bow blouses, but the way they've styled it though, because obviously pussy bow blouse is very much an Alessandro Michele thing, but the way they've styled it and they've made their own ballet flats, which became like a huge focus in this collection. If you guys can see the detail shots, they made the horse bit ballet flats and all that sort of stuff. That's definitely the Miu Miu effect. So many brands, you look at their styling, you look at their runway shows, and it looks like Miu Miu anyway. So going back to the list, John Galliano for Margiela, Miuccia Prada for Miu Miu, I can see it. Jonathan Anderson, I can see it. Pieter Mulier, I think that his part is the innovative collections. I think his collection was super innovative with using one fabric yarn and transforming it in so many different ways and playing with textures. That was very innovative. So I think based on the criteria I'm looking at, I think 4 of them have that. I think Chemena, Kamali and Rick Owens are the ones that stand out as not fitting in the criteria of it. So Luke is asking me, who is your prediction on who will win? If I'm being honest, I expect Miuccia Prada to win because I just think that Miu Miu definitely has fashion in a chokehold. If they're doing the British bias and if they're doing the political thing where, you know, they're really trying to push the John Galliano thing, like I was saying in the beginning of the live stream, if they're really trying to force John Galliano down our throats and they really just want to complete the resurgence because fashion is very political, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes here, then they might just rig the whole thing and make John Galliano the winner. But if I'm being honest, who deserves it the most? Probably Miuccia Prada. Yeah, I think influence-wise, I think Miuccia Prada deserves it the most. But if they want to, pull John Galliano through and just complete the the quartet of Met Gala, viral show, rumors at a big fashion brand, and then Designer of the Year award, if they want to just complete that set, then yes, John Galliano will win. But I think that Miuccia Prada should win, and I think she's the most deserving of winning the award, to be honest. Cornbo says that makes sense, the John thing. Yeah, Maximilian for Ferragamo is very interesting. I love Ferragamo for Maximilian. It's very classic. It's super chic. But I love it though. I do love what Maximilian has been doing at Ferragamo. What the heck? Dummy says fashion girlies are taking Ozempic to fit into Rick and Miu Miu. Good lord. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Let me just remind myself of the JW Anderson, the recent JW Anderson collections. I just need to, it's not fresh in my memory. Okay. I remember. With the like super oversized yarns and stuff. Yeah. Okay, I remember it now. Shout out to Ozempic. You guys are funny. I'm just looking at the last 2 collections, trying to remind myself. And I'm just thinking of the criteria, like innovation, impact in fashion, influence in fashion, especially this year. I feel like it's going to get to a point where a lot of these people stop writing descriptions because I'm always over analyzing what people write. Because like, I mean, that's what you wrote there. That's like the criteria. Goodness gracious. Luke has more JW Anderson slander going on in the chat. I shall not be reading that, as I'm a fan of JW Anderson. Obviously, more so at LOEWE than his eponymous label. I think that while his eponymous label is playful, and something I've said about J.W. Anderson in the past that I really appreciate and I really love is that with J.W. Anderson, you get you just learn about random stuff, because J.W. Anderson is like really into art history and just like weird things. So he'll reference like a weird book. There's so many J.W. Anderson collections where he'll reference like a weird ass play or like some historical film I've never heard of a day in my life. I'm like, what the hell is that? And then I have to actually go and watch the film so I can review the show or read the book. And by the end of it, I come out of it like, that was actually really interesting. That was really cool. All that stuff. So for me, that's the aspect of J.W. Anderson that I love. I do think that some of it is just so overly playful. It's just so costumey. But it's fun. It's fun in a way. Would I wear any of it or buy any of it? No. But I like how fun it is. And it's just apologetically like so non-commercial. Like literally no one is buying that. I don't think it matters, because at the end of the day, what are people buying? The J.W. Anderson Pierce bag, the LOEWE puzzle bag. That's what people are buying. Elle says, Miu Miu cardigan, LOEWE logo jeans plus puzzle bag, Alaïa ballet flats equals to basic it girly run around outfit. That's funny. They love, because when we looked at the list index and we saw the hottest products and we saw like some beach briefs and like some swimming pants and what are the other pieces? Some polo, a Miu Miu polo. I was like, really? That's what's hot? A Miu Miu polo? That's so uninteresting. Of all the pieces that Miu Miu make, it's like the most basic ass Miu Miu polo that looks like the Lacoste polo that you can buy in sale for $40, but instead, because it's Miu Miu, it costs like $600 or whatever the hell it costs, and the girlies are in a chokehold wearing that. The girls. But anyway, guys, that then concludes the stream. It was very fun, just kind of riff-raffing around my thoughts on the nominations. In further streams, we will be talking about different categories, which I think will be actually way more interesting, because, you know, it's just interesting because those designers, like the emerging menswear, emerging women's wear, they're smaller brands and there's more to talk about and it's actually more interesting. But I definitely think that Miu Miu should win. I think that Miuccia Prada should win. So yeah, that's the end of the stream. Dami and Micah, message me if you guys want to stream and I'll do another stream, like an after hours stream. But I'll close this one for now. So thank you everyone for tuning in. If I reappear in a stream, then it's because Micah and Dami want to hop in the stream and we're going to have some after hours stuff going on. So yeah, thank you for tuning in and I'll see you guys the next time I see you guys.